Hi, everybody. I'm Rich Waltz, along with Super Bowl champ Robert Turbin. Tiffany Blackman will join us shortly. There's a lot of games here on this college football Saturday. This is a hidden gem, my friend.
Yeah, it really is. Two offenses that score a lot of points. Really explosive. Can't wait to watch it tonight.
I can't wait to get to turbo time. Let's start with Duke and talk about how they've arrived here with this record. Darian Mensah, their quarterback, absolutely scorched Clemson.
Yeah, he's special, isn't he, Rich? I mean, you talk about a guy with a lot of precision in the pocket, goes through his reads, throws an accurate football, makes smart decisions. It just feels like he knows what the defense is trying to do, and that's how he's so successful.
UConn now. This is Jim Mora's best team in his 4 years. They have a terrific quarterback. You saw Fignano, but man, Skylar Bell on the outside is tough to stop.
Yeah, it's easy to play quarterback when you got a guy like Skylar Bell to throw the football to, and one of the things that really makes him extraordinary is his ability to get yards after the catch. There's a short catch right there, but he's able to take it all the way to the house and score touchdowns wherever he gets the football. And then if you want to throw it to him on a deep route, he just finds a way to come down with the football anytime it's in the air, recognizes the zone. He's a great player.
That's Working on a Win, sponsored by the Home Depot. That's Jim Mora. He has done miraculous stuff here at UConn. You can see his record. On the other side for Manny Diaz, that big win at Clemson. How did his team, how did the coaching staff handle that win? With more, we say hi to Tiffany Blackman.
Hey, Rich. Well, Coach Diaz was really candid with us in our meeting with him this weekend. He said after they beat Clemson that it took them a day or two to kind of put it behind them. And so he said that they're still learning very much how to manage big wins and even losses at that same token, too. But he did go on to say that it's really tough in college football to be the same team week in and week out no matter what's happened. But he's liked the way that his guys responded this week and showing up and just going to work. And he told us when you put on the film and it's a team like UConn, it pretty easily grabs their attention, Rich.
All right, thank you, Tiffany. The weather is just terrific here. Look at this, 58 degrees. Now, the wind is not a factor. It can be in this stadium. We'll keep an eye on it. And once the sun goes down, they expect the temperatures to drop into the high 40s. So it could get chilly here in a hurry. Jackson Harper is deep. Duke won the toss. They deferred. They want the football in the second half. And we are underway on a field where UConn plays very, very well. Not many people have heard of Joe Fignano, but you should start paying attention. The numbers that he has put up as the quarterback of the Huskies, really incredible. 22 touchdowns, no picks, completing almost 70% of his passes.
Yeah, and the thing that makes him so great, Rich, is he throws the ball with anticipation, which you don't see a lot of quarterbacks in college doing, meaning that he's throwing the football before a wide receiver is even looking. And so, his ability to be able to recognize those coverages and throw an accurate ball has made him great this year.
Ground game is pretty solid for UConn. Cam Edwards with his first carry. And Wesley Williams made the stop for Duke. The matchup here, we talked about Skylar Bell, but Chandler Rivers is one of the very best corners in the ACC.
And Skylar Bell, he was going to line up in different spots on the offensive side of the football. You see him going to motion a lot. The guy that's going to mirror him a lot in this game is Chandler Rivers, and that matchup is going to be one to witness tonight.
Fignano under pressure, scrambling, and he can't escape. Down he goes. Josiah Green, that's a sack and a loss of 6.
Speaking of Skylar Bell and Chandler Rivers, there they go already early in this game. A nice job by the Duke defense putting pressure. That's what they want to do tonight, Rich. Mix up their defensive looks, try to confuse Fignano in the pocket, and generate sacks.
5-receiver look with Victor Rosa, a running back, at the top of your screen. This is 3rd down and 13. Duke brings 4. Fignano fires, and it's in and out of the hands of John Nider, his wide receiver, and this is 3 and out, and the Duke defense looks good from the jump.
Exactly what you want. If you're Coach Diaz and this Duke defense starting off the game with a 3-and-out, a point of emphasis this week for Duke was just to be more disciplined defensively.
Oh, they almost got that punt. Stutz gets a good one off. And that one's brought out to the 45-yard line. That was Keyshawn Brown with the return of 15 yards. Now Duke's offense enters, and Darian Mensah, the transfer from Tulane, under-recruited coming into college. I think the secret's out on him now.
And the chip is on his shoulder. Being under-recruited, he's got something to prove, and he's been playing like it this year. And you want to talk about a guy who, kind of started off as a little bit of a gunslinger. He's tamed that a little bit and made smart decisions and propelled this offense to be one of the best in the nation.
And one of the most fun to watch as well. Little inside toss to Brown, and Queso is loose inside the 40, inside the 30, and down to the 29. 25 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
Keyshawn Brown, he's one of those guys on this team that's got special speed. Get some blockers out in front, and boy, he can take it to the house.
Again, big chunks of yardage. Nate Shepard. And there is a UConn player down, 17 yards following that first play from scrimmage. And just like that, Duke is in the red zone. Lee Millette, a safety for UConn, is down. This looks exactly like Duke last week at Death Valley, especially in the later stages of that game when they needed points. They got big chunks of yardage.
But the other thing too, Rich, is to take another look at this tackle here. Couldn't see exactly what happened there, but they started off the game fast against Clemson, and we'll be right back here.
UConn coach Jim Mora out. It was moments ago. Millette helped from the field, favoring that left arm.
Yeah, there's Millette right there, Rich, and gets that left arm just kind of caught up in the fray there, trying to make a tackle.
Ooh. All right, now back to Duke. 2 plays, 42 yards, 2 first downs. Jim Mora and the Huskies were 3-and-out their first touch. But Duke has raced down to the UConn 13-yard line. Shepard in the backfield.
This is what Mensah does really well. Recognize the defense, change the play at the line of scrimmage.
UConn shows blitz. Here they come. Shepard slips through the blitz. Inside the end zone. Touchdown, Duke. My goodness. 13 yards. It's a 55-yard drive in the blink of an eye in just 3 plays. And if there was any question as maybe they'd have a hangover after the big win, this is an emphatic answer.
And Duke right now winning at the line of scrimmage. What Mensah saw right there was the safety wanting to blitz on the edge. And so he changed the play to that outside zone run, knowing that they had numbers in the blocking scheme. We're going to run right at the blitz. And it ended up being a touchdown.
Todd Polino for the point. And it's up and good. Quick start by Duke. Nate Shepard into the end zone. And a 7-0 start. This was like surgery for Duke.
Yeah, you're going to get a blitzer coming on the outside and a kick out by the tight end right here. That's number 85, Jeremiah Hasley. That's really the key block. Everybody else is just running. And there's the crease, the acceleration, the touchdown. Nice job by Nate Shepard reading it. Good job by that offensive line and tight end crew opening up the lane.
Just 2.5 minutes into this game, and UConn feels like they're on their heels. Duke's defense was smothering a 3-and-out, and then it was 3-and-in. 3 plays, 55 yards.
And they essentially did everything that they wanted to do. It was the perfect drive for Duke. They ran the football with efficiency. They got the ball out quick out of Mensah's hands, got him in rhythm. There's offensive coordinator there, Gordon Samus. For the Huskies, now it's their turn to try to answer.
This is an offense that's racking up 456 yards per game. And it's Terrence Smith getting on the outside. And this looks more like UConn's offense. Smith is a guy who's listed as a running back, as a high school quarterback, and he'll play in a variety of spots.
Yeah, he's a gadget player. They like to use him right there on the fly sweep. They like to use him in reverse. You'll see him in the return game. He's just got a lot of speed, and so when you can get him in space, you're looking at positive yards.
18 yards on that, out to the 43-yard line. Fignano, the transfer from Maine. His third year in this program, and Edwards is blasted. And that's Jaden Francois coming up from the backfield for Duke.
Yeah, he saw this from start to finish. Lined up at the linebacker spot, and he is fired up after that tackle for loss. It's a nice play.
So Duke defense gave up 560 yards last week and won at Clemson. Second down, 12. Fignano to throw. They give him time, and that's Bell with the catch up the sideline. Skylar Bell was wide open. He and Chandler Rivers have been dueling on that first drive.
And you see Skylar Bell's lined up in the backfield right there. And so you ask yourself, you know he's going to get the ball, and how does he always find a way to get open? Well, look no further than offensive coordinator Gordon Samus, who just does an excellent job hiding him in certain offensive formations, able to get him open.
And trying to hide him from Rivers in particular, who's the best corner for Duke, and as I noted, one of the very best in the ACC. Smith and Rosa in there right now, and this is Smith around the right side. Boy, it always helps to have been an option quarterback like Terrence Smith and then get in the backfield and be able to scoot and get the edge.
Yeah, line up as the Wildcat quarterback right there. And, you know, Duke's got to be aware now. He was a quarterback in high school, like you mentioned. And so a couple of runs with him, they got to be aware of the pass. And there's defensive coordinator Jonathan Packey for Duke, trying to stop this high-powered UConn offense.
On second down, Fignano, little inside screen, and it's deflected and almost picked. That's Trey Freeman, one of the linebackers for Duke, who got a hand on it. This is going to be third down and about 7.
Yeah, Trey was initially coming on a blitz and recognized that there was a screen. Then he veered off, read the eyes of Fignano, and almost came down with the interception.
UConn's field goal kicker Chris Freeman has a big leg. He had a couple of 53-yarders last year. Wind is not a factor. So if they don't get the first down, this is within his range.
UConn having some trouble getting lined up here, Rich. They're probably going to have to call a timeout.
Play clock running down. Let's see if they get it off. And they'll call a timeout. Some unhappy coaches on the sideline. All right, quarterback comparison between Fignano and Mensah. Their numbers are eerily similar in terms of yardage, in terms of touchdowns, in terms of not throwing many interceptions at all. Fignano hasn't thrown a pick. Mensah's thrown just 2. That's elite company for these guys.
Yeah, that's precision and timing, making smart decisions. And it's interesting with Darian Mensah, quarterback for Duke. That's one of the areas that, you know, they wanted him to improve on this season. Not the fact that he was turning the football over, but he was taking some sacks and doing some things of that nature. And he's done a better job taking what the defense is just giving him, and both quarterbacks do an excellent job of that.
They're down 7 here. Let's see if Duke brings pressure. Fignano, quick throw there, and that's Bell. Bell's going to get maybe a half a yard. So this is going to be 4th down and 6.
Well, we talked to Coach Moore about his 4th down decision making, and what moves him to go for it and not. It's a field thing for him. He'll look at the analytics, but it's more so of a field thing. And big game against Duke tonight, you expect him to be aggressive.
Are they trying to draw them offside? No. Let's see. Fignano in the pocket, hit as he throws. It's caught at the stick. There's a flag down as well by the quarterback. The catch is short of the line to gain, but let's hold on with the flag sitting at the 41-yard line. Juice Vereen made the catch on a throw that was obviously altered. There could be a hands to the face or a high hit on the quarterback. And that's what it looks like. This is going to be a first down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. The defense got penalties and force after distance to the goal. Automatic, first down.
So a huge break and a huge conversion on fourth down.
Couldn't see initially who it was. It looked like it was 97, Wesley Williams. Good bull rush. He makes an inside move, and he knew it right away. Hit him on the helmet right there. And that's a 15-yarder.
Into the red zone. UConn 33 of 36 in the red zone. 24 of the 33 touchdowns. That's an early start. Aaron Hall.
Defense number 99 with contact. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, Rich, one of the keys in this game, let's take another look at this offsides penalty, is red zone defense really for both teams. The offenses on both sides are really good once they get into the red zone, especially when in terms of scoring touchdowns. The key for me is which defense is going to be able to come up with more red zone stops tonight.
It's first down and 5. Fignano, end zone, caught, touchdown. That's Juice Vereen.
One of the up-and-coming tight ends in college football. 4 touchdowns in his last 3 games. Make that 5 in his last 4. And when this team gets into the red zone, he's become one of their #1 targets in that area, showing itself again tonight.
Chris Freeman, the extra point. And this crowd, which is still filing in from all the huge tailgating out, has something to cheer about. That's the big call on fourth down. And that's the result. Vereen from Fignano. This game's tied.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by The Home Depot. How doers get more done. By Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. And by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef?
It was one of the most thrilling and impactful wins by Duke in a long time. Beating Clemson on the road, having to score the touchdown at the end and then go for 2 and get it and win it. And now they find themselves in East Hartford. And after a 7-0 start, UConn answers.
Yeah, it's a good read by Fignano. Duke's going to be in a too-high look, which usually is a void right there in the middle of the defense. And then Vereen's just going to run what we call a stick nod route there, right where that opening is. Linebacker doesn't get deep enough. And able to hit him there for the touchdown.
Fignano right now on the sideline. Now it's Mensa's turn. There is a flag down that came down late. Obviously the ball sailing through the end zone. Officials discussing it right now.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct receiving team number 30, his first of the game towards ejection. The penalties enforced after distance to the goal, first down.
This is unlike Duke. They've made some mistakes penalty-wise, and you can see the frustration with Manny Diaz.
That's Will Felder Jr., linebacker, subbing in. They've had some injuries at that spot.
Again, this crowd continues to grow. There was a lot of traffic getting in here and a huge tailgate scene beforehand. So they're still getting into their seats right now. Mensah on 1st and 10 is chased, dumps it off. That's Brown again, and Brown is knocked out of bounds. Malachi McLean to him. That's at the 17-yard line. Key matchup in this one. Cooper Barkate, the transfer from Harvard, has just been splendid this year. And then on the other side, Cam Chadwick had 3 picks last week. He'll be in coverage throughout the day.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see how much they challenge Cam Chadwick. You mentioned it, Rich, 3 interceptions last week. But, you know, you look at the week before and against Rice and didn't have his best performance. And so you're curious how he responds. He responded well to not having a great game. See how he responds to having a great game last week. And then for Barkate, well, he's just become their unquestioned leader at wide receiver. Hadn't got involved yet today.
Timeout on the field.
But you expect him to get involved at some point here soon.
And the down box.
The chains and the down box are off. Jim Mora spotting it on the other side. You have chain on the far side, which is UConn's. Then you have like a first down marker on the Duke side, and that first down marker was sitting around midfield for some reason. 2nd down and 5. Mensah, a terrific story. San Luis Obispo product, under-recruited, went to Tulane, transfers to Duke, and the numbers he's put up are really eye-popping. 2nd down 5. He'll pull it. Quick throw, deflected and picked off. It's intercepted. Brian Parham with the pick. The terrific linebacker and the leader of this defense.
15 is the one who's got the tip, Rich. Kamoe Latu. And then Parham there, able to come down with the ricochet. This is an aggressive style defense. UConn wants to bring pressure. We just got done talking about Barkate, Cooper Barkate, the wide receiver for Duke. That's who Mensah was targeting on that play. And the defense for UConn able to come up with a takeaway.
9th turnover for Duke. If there's an advantage here for UConn, it's in that category. UConn has turned it over just once. Just once in 9 games this year. Fignano in the pocket. That one's deflected, and that's incomplete. Duke got pressure. 2nd down and 10. That was Josiah Green.
It's really interesting. These defenses for both Duke and UConn, how similar they play in terms of wanting to bring extra defenders in pressure. They like to show as if they're going to bring pressure to one side and actually bring it from the other post-snap. These quarterbacks are going to have to do a really nice job recognizing who the real blitzers are in this game.
On 2nd and 10, Duke showing blitz. Fignano, Edwards slips through, breaks another tackle, has the first down to the 15. Deshaun Stone, a 12-yard carry. Stone made the stop.
And the game plan for UConn offensively in terms of their run attack is they want to attack the edges of Duke. They feel like they have a really strong outside zone scheme, which is an outside type of run there. A good example of it on that last play. And that's where they feel like they have the advantage.
From the 15, off the turnover. 1st and 10. Edwards again, this time not much there. Trey Freeman made the stop, no gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And it's interesting, too, the core of this offensive scheme being that outside run because of all the things that you can do off of it. The play action, the rollout, and it just seems to open things up for the quarterback.
This is a pro-style offense and program. Of course, Jim Mora, head coach in the NFL, longtime NFL assistant, has modeled this program after an NFL model. Fignano fires, incomplete. Alex Honig, the intended receiver. Trey Freeman there on coverage. This will be 3rd down and 10.
A really nice defense that time in coverage by Trey Freeman, able to get his hand in there. Fignano in the pocket taking a little bit of a hit. 3rd down hasn't been the strong suit for UConn this year, but it'll be a critical piece of the game for both teams.
Fignano inside screen. That's Bell wrapped up and caught at the 10. Well, they went for it on 4th and 5 on that last drive, but they're so close, and off a pick, it looks like they want to cash in for something, and that'll be with a field goal attempt.
Yeah, a little surprising. I know Bell has the ability to break a tackle and get yards after the catch, but I thought UConn might attack a little bit more vertically there on that 3rd and long. But a good decision by Coach Moore here to kick this field goal and get 3.
Freeman's had a great year. He's 15 of 17, and he's hit 12 straight. This is just 29 yards.
That's a nice job by the holder there, Rich.
Yeah. It all started with Latu's deflection, Parham's interception, and a nice catch and save.
It's that high hop at shortstop.
Majority of college football teams have their punter as a holder. Connor Stutz, 6'2", and he needed all of that. He's the punter for UConn, and he just saved 3 points here.
Nick just goes up and gets it, gets the ball down. The one thing he didn't have time to do was spin the laces. Nice job being able to stay poised and execute on the field goal.
So Freeman will kick it. Samir Hagans is deep, along with Jaden Moore, and this is Moore. Moore slips through. Duke has had a couple of big returns this year on a kickoff and a punt. And we go down below. Tiffany Blackman. Tiff?
Hey guys, when we got the chance to talk to Darian Mensah, he told us he chose Duke because after speaking with Coach Diaz, it spoke to him really on a personal level, that it moved him, and he called him a genius when it comes to the football stuff. One of the other reasons that he really liked it was that the opportunity he had here with this offense really suited his skill set, guys. He likes a lot of that play action.
Yeah, Tiffany, and you know, it was a two-way street. I think Manny Diaz said it was like speed dating when he got into the portal, right? You have a very little time to find out who he is and what he's about. You can watch the tape, and it just seems like a perfect match. Third possession for Duke. Mensah, lots of time, fires a crossing pattern on the money. Catch at the 45. Cooper Bartkate, the transfer from Harvard, 18 yards on the throw.
There's that matchup. We're going to see it most of the night tonight. Cooper Bartkate, Cam Chadwick going back and forth.
Little tempo here from Duke, and that's not going anywhere. That's Shepard with the carry. And a loss of 1 there.
Couldn't see it in that picture, but Cooper Bartkate, Cam Chadwick even getting into it on the run plays too, blocking. I mean, you love the competitiveness from both these teams. It's interesting how Duke mixes things up in terms of sometimes wanting to go tempo. Where they're not able to get positive yards on first down, you'll see them huddle up.
A little bit of a stunt up front, and the throw is off the mark. Andrell Anthony the intended receiver. And we go back down to Tiffany Blackman.
Hey guys, a quick injury update for you on the UConn side. Safety Lee Millette left earlier in the quarter with an injury. He is still being evaluated, guys, and right now he is questionable. I'll keep you posted should I find out more.
All right, thank you. Starting safety involved in that collision early in this first quarter. 5 minutes left in it. A lot of action so far. This is 3rd down and 11 for Duke. Rolling is Mensah. Blitz is chasing him, and he flips it out of bounds. And UConn has held. The pursuit was on by Devin Pringle from his corner spot.
Boy, one of the areas that has really been improving over the course of this season for UConn defensively is their secondary. And right here on this rollout play, they want to move the pocket, Duke, but this secondary for UConn locked onto these receivers on that 3rd down. Really nice job forcing a punt.
Cade Reynolds is the Duke punter. He's trying to pin this one inside the 20 and keep it out of the end zone. Jackson Harper deep for UConn. End over end. And terrific special teams play there. Jaden Francois on special teams. That's a 45-yard kick to the 1-yard line. Tomorrow at noon Eastern, head to the pitch. CBS Sports Network will bring you the Patriot League Women's Soccer Championship. Army and Boston University. A title to be decided. Such a great job on special teams by Duke. They marked that ball actually inside the 1-yard line. And so this is a little bit dicey here for UConn.
Yeah, 2-back system right here for UConn. Now you don't see this too much.
Duke crowding the line and almost stopping Lundberg Coleman, short yardage back. It looks like he got out, but not by much.
Yeah, trying to hit a quick hit right there. Quick hitter with the fullback. Trying to just create a little bit of space there, Oliver Coleman, away from that goal line.
The field goal, the second score, came off a deflected interception by UConn. 2nd down, 10. Fignano shotgun. 4-man rush, fires up the sideline for Bell, and it's over his head. And now you're faced with 3rd down and 10, and you're still nestled up against the goal line.
Yeah, I would have liked to see UConn run that football there out of that spread. Right there, 2 defenders, though, on Bell. And Fignano was trying to force that one in there that time. And had Bell on the single side and made it easy for Duke to send a double team out there.
Gordon Samus, their offensive coordinator. UConn 0 of 3 on 3rd down so far. Edwards in the backfield. Fignano, quick slant, caught, that's Murphy, and Murphy's out across the 12, and that's a 1st down. Musa Kane on the coverage. Romello Murphy.
And just a quick inside route. He's a dependable option, Rich.
Fignano, the keeper. Out to the 38-yard line. And another big play by UConn. 26 yards.
Did Fignano use the umpire as an extra blocker right here? Showing off the speed. Nice read on that read zone play, recognizing that the defender was going after the back, so he takes it himself. You don't see that a lot from Fignano, but he's got that in his arsenal.
6'4", 225 pounds. Williamsport, PA. Started his career at Maine. Last 3 years in this system. Another slant. Murphy again. This time with a burst of speed. To the 30. Murphy knocked out of bounds at the 22-yard line. And man, has UConn's offense come to life.
And this is a guy that has just really earned the trust of the coaching staff. Duke is playing outside leverage, which is leaving the inside wide open there for Murphy, and he just takes advantage.
That was a massive group that moved on both sides of the ball, it looked like, on the left side of the offensive line.
Snap infraction. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. First down.
One of the things we've talked about leading up to this game is if Duke is able to shut down Skylar Bell, can UConn find other weapons to hurt the Blue Devils? And Raymello Murphy, with a couple of big catches on this drive, seems like he's one of the guys.
Yeah, certainly he's becoming a dependable option over the course of the season. 23 catches, 3 touchdowns. And you feel like Fignano has the trust of Murphy.
Edwards in the backfield. First and 15. Play action. In trouble. Gets rid of it. And it's tipped and deflected away by Trey Freeman. Freeman in coverage. Second down and 15.
Fignano had no choice but to rush that one. He was trying to hit Cam Edwards there in the flat off the play action, but he wasn't quite ready yet for that throw, and you got to give credit to the Duke defense for the pressure.
So Fignano's not thrown an interception. He has 22 touchdown throws, and yet he does throw the ball into tight windows. It's not like a guy that is, throwing everything in the seats if nobody's open.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the anticipation that he throws the football with.
Edwards fighting for yardage. He's going to get maybe 6. And this will bring up 3rd down and 9.
This is usually Skylar Bell time here on these 3rd down situations.
Duke had way too many players on the field, it looked like. I don't see a flag. Now there's a flag that's down, and Fignano fires it. UConn caught Duke making a change, snapped the ball, and the flags came out from the very back of the end zone with the back judge. But it looked like Duke had like 14 or 15 guys on the field.
Illegal substitution. Defense. More than 11 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's not an automatic first down. So it's 3rd down and a makeable 4.
Yeah, and this is just Fignano. This is him. This is a veteran quarterback right there, recognizing that the defense has too many players on the field. Let's get to the line of scrimmage right now. Quick count, and able to catch him with the penalty.
In football, it's 5 yards. In hockey, it's a power play. Too many guys on the field. Fignano's in trouble, and he goes down. Duke blitzing again. Got to him. Caleb Weaver coming off the corner. And they peel Fignano off the turf. 2nd sack for Duke. And it means Chris Freeman's going to come on and attempt another field goal.
The blitzers for this defense at Duke, number 3, Caleb Weaver, and 8, Deshaun Stone. You'll see those guys, and Fignano just doesn't see him coming at all. And this is where having the quick snap can sometimes be a disadvantage for you offensively, because you're not taking the time at the line of scrimmage to be able to see defenses and change your blocking scheme if you need to.
42 yards from Freeman, and he hooks it. Freeman misses. It snaps a streak of 13 in a row. And so UConn comes up empty. Remember, they dug themselves out from their goal line and got it all the way down inside the 30. Tomorrow, count on an outstanding NFL on CBS Week 10 interconference showdown between the Patriots and the Bucs. Key AFC South matchup featuring the Jaguars and the Texans. You can always count on Sundays. The NFL on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. A lot of crossover in FBS with coaches that have spent a lot of time in the NFL, and certainly Jim Mora is one of those. Now Duke trying to move the football after an electric first drive in which they went 55 yards on just 3 plays. they have stalled since then. A deflected pass that was intercepted led to a UConn field goal. Darian Mensah and the Blue Devils 2nd and 6. On the ground, and a nice gain there. Bursting through Anderson Castle, a bruising runner. And the transfer out of App State chews up 11 yards.
Yeah, you typically see him in short yardage or 4-minute offense situations, but can also serve as a nice spell there for Nate Shepherd. And like you said, he brings that downhill physical mentality.
Downhill from here for the first quarter. Onward and upward to the second quarter. Duke scored first. UConn answered. This is, as we thought, a fun one here. UConn a 10-7 lead. That's the end of the first quarter. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, built by the Home Depot. In East Hartford, 10-7, UConn on top of Duke. Moments ago, Jim Mora, UConn head coach, with our Tiffany Blackman.
Coach Moore, I know your last drive didn't end with points, but what did you like that you can build upon to find the end zone next go?
Well, I mean, we took it out from the 1-yard line, drove it down the field. We got to get points there, though. But I like the balance that we're showing. We've got to do a better job protecting our passer right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure thing.
All right, thank you, Tiffany. Darian Mensah and Duke, if you're just joining us, incredible win, come from behind, last-second heroics at Clemson last week. And they scored on their first touch. This is Castle again, left side on 1st and 10. And UConn stuffs him. Brian Parham makes the stop. Parham, their leading tackler, 80 tackles, 9.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. He's having quite a year.
Yeah, he really is, Rich. And he actually started fall camp fighting for playing time. And a guy that just kind of kept working. And here he is. He's been a fruitful starter.
2nd down, 9. Hagan's in motion. Huskies show blitz. Here they come. Play action. Mensah steps in the pocket. Fires to the sideline. Caught there. Sliding catch. That's Hagan's. And a late hit's going to add to this catch. A flag comes down. 18 yards. And you might as well add what looks like 15 more. Officials are conferring. Let's take a look. What do you think?
I didn't see
After
too
the
much
play,
there.
personal foul, late hit, defense number 15. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic, first down.
You know, at first look, it looked like a late hit, but you know, there's a catch, slide, hit. I mean, that's.
Yeah, you know what? You go in high like that late.
And it's actually kind of falling over him, Rich. I'm not sure I agree with that one.
30-yard line of UConn. Castle. Boy, he has a quick burst. That's 6 yards. Offensive coordinator for Duke is Jonathan Brewer in his second year.
I like what he's doing right now, going back to the ground, establishing some dominance here at the line of scrimmage.
And playing with tempo. Castle again finds his way through, blasts a safety, Malachi McLean, and ends up at the 12-yard line with a first down. That's 12 more yards.
There's a Castle. That's a big dude, Rich. 6 foot, 215 pounds. He's a grown man. That's a grown man run right there.
And again, Duke's tempo's been turned up. Castle again, just blasting his way through. 3 more yards, 2 more guys that he knocked to the ground.
How about the toughness by Malachi McLean right back in it? There is Matt Brock, defensive coordinator for UConn, and you know, he told us he wants his defense to play with an aggressive style tonight, and so far they've done a nice job.
You see the drive, 8th play of the drive. Shepherd replaces Castle. 2nd and 7. Mensah pulls it, fires for the corner, caught! Anthony, touchdown! Andrell Anthony, who's been to Oklahoma and Michigan. Slow start as a Blue Devil, he's really started to pop.
Andrell Anthony caught up in man coverage against Damon Brinson. And that's what happens when you're able to be productive on the ground. Run, then he hit the play action. And you're able to find open targets in the end zone. And just a nice accurate throw from Darian Mensah that time for the score.
8 plays, 76 yards. Remember, the personal foul added 15. 3.5 minutes. And of course, UConn didn't get points on their last drive. Duke gets 7, and they're back on top. In East Hartford, Duke on the road.
Yeah, you're gonna get
and
a
14-10 lead. A flag is down.
You're gonna get unsportsmanlike conduct. A lot of back and forth there after that kick, Rich.
Actually, 2 flags are down. These teams do know each other. They played last year. Duke a 26-21 win.
After the play, there are unsportsmanlike conduct fouls on each team. Number 73 for Duke, number 58 for UConn. That is each player's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game towards ejection. Those fouls offset. The result of the play, the try is good.
All right, everybody got that? 14-10, Duke on top. A lot of football to be played. Early in the second quarter, 14-10, Duke on top. Let's go down to Tiffany Blackman.
Hey guys, I know we've seen some chippiness in this game. Well, I just saw Duke coach Manny Diaz walk over to his offense, doing that kind of chatter motion with his hands, had it going, and letting the guys know not to feed into that, but to play our game. So we'll see how this one continues to play out, guys.
Now we'll keep an eye and an ear on that one. Total yardage in this game so far. We knew it would be fun with these quarterbacks and the offense. 138 to 138, Duke and UConn. That's Victor Rosa, running back, gets to the sideline and darts out of bounds. Joe Fignano and his day so far.
Well, you talked about how he doesn't turn the football over, and he's been accurate so far tonight. Obviously throwing the football, utilizing his feet as well. He just has a calm about him, Rich, that allows this offense just to be so efficient in terms of making plays.
As you heard Jim Mora tell Tiffany, he was happy with the balance and especially the way that UConn moved the football on that last drive, but they did not get any points out of it. They missed a field goal. Fignano over the middle, and he's hit again. Skylar Bell, the intended receiver. The other thing he told Tiffany is we got to protect our quarterback better.
Yeah, and Duke is doing a nice job tonight making Fignano a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket. Keep in mind, UConn has only given up 11 sacks this season. That's 3rd in the nation. So this offensive line generally pretty good. And Duke defensively so far been up for the challenge.
Duke has 2 sacks, and Fignano's been knocked around after he's thrown it a few times. Bell's in motion. Fignano fakes there. Quick toss over there to Edwards, and he's got a lot of green in front of him, and he races out close to midfield. He stepped out of bounds at the UConn 45-yard line. That's an 18-yard pickup.
And so when you have a guy like Skylar Bell, you know that you're trying to get him the ball offensively, but he can also be used as a decoy. And that time, used as a decoy and able to get Cam Edwards open on the left side.
Now UConn going with tempo, and Edwards gets through the first wave, but then Aaron Hall and Wesley Williams knock him down right at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10.
You just get the feeling that Fignano's itching to take one of those shots down the field at some point. Skylar Bell not in the game right now, but you like the fact that they're sticking with their ground game and trying to stay efficient at the line of scrimmage.
2nd down 10. Fignano kind of set up a screen. That ball's tipped, and then it's caught, and that's Edwards, and he's got the first down. What a crazy play this is, and he ended up at the 40. Tyshawn Reed with the stop, 15 yards on a tipped ball.
You know, it's interesting how much versatility Cam Edwards has in his game, because you look at Cam and he's a downhill runner. He's 210 pounds, so he has some physicality to him as well. But he's got a great first step and such good acceleration that when he catches the football, he's able to get down the field quickly.
10 first downs already for UConn from the 40. Little inside toss, and then a pitch from Bell. And Malachi Greaves, who was also in that creative play, had the football, and he ends up losing 2 yards.
And Skylar Bell would have been better off just catching his football and getting down. He's got space. Catching downfield. I think a missed face mask call that time by the referees. I think that's what Jim Moore is talking about there. That left hand of the defender got into the face mask there, but a no call.
42-yard line of Duke. Bell's in motion. Fignano looks his way, gets it to him, racing for the edge, stops, starts, restarts, and then is blasted out of bounds there by, I believe it was Chandler Rivers. Deshaun Stone was there as well. It may have been Stone. And that's a gain of 8 with a crash landing at the end.
You know, I saw Duke warming up before the game, Rich, and their strength and conditioning coach, David Feely, as we take another look at this hit, he told his team, he said, you got to be in the right mindset to run through somebody's face tonight. And right there, that's how you make a tackle.
And that was the aptly named Deshaun Stone. 1 of 5 on 3rd down is UConn. Another quick throw. This is Murphy in a crowd. He picks his way through and is inside the 25. Josiah Green gets him. The inside screen game. Murphy's 3rd catch. That's an 8-yard pickup.
And I'll tell you this, Rich, you can't run an effective screen game if you don't have athletic offensive linemen who can get out in space and block DBs on the perimeter. And UConn, their offensive line all night tonight has displayed the ability and the skill set to be able to do that. That's why you're seeing so many screen plays.
It's another long drive by UConn. Remember the last one ended with a missed field goal. Almost halfway through the 2nd quarter. Bell's in motion again. Fignano looking. Bell on the crossing pattern, makes the catch. It's really evident that they are moving Bell and lining him up everywhere, just trying to shake him loose from coverage.
And Chandler Rivers is trying to chase him. There he is, number 0, Chandler Rivers on number 1, Skylar Bell. And, you know, the reason for the motion, Rich, is they're just trying to make sure he doesn't get double teamed. They're trying to create as many one-on-one opportunities for Skylar Bell in this game.
Edwards back in, 2nd and 6. Fignano, Bell again has the catch and is close to the 1st down. Boy, this guy's 5'11". He's out of the Bronx, and that's one of the reasons he wanted to come back here and play at UConn, closer to home.
Yeah, he easily could have left somewhere in the portal, and one of those guys for this football team who, you know, loved playing for Coach Mora and wanted to, you know, stay and be a part of this program and be a part of building something special here.
Started his career at Wisconsin. 6 catches, 34 yards for Skylar Bell. 3rd and 1, though. He was short of the first down. Duke really loading the line of scrimmage.
And I think this is a 2-for-1 if you don't miss.
Edwards has got the first down.
I was going to say, I think this is a 2-for-1 as long as you don't lose yardage there on 3rd down. You go for it on 4th. But Cam Edwards said, we don't have time for that. Let's go ahead and move the sticks now.
And remember what Jim Moore told Tiffany Blackman between the first and the second quarters. We've got to get points out of drives like this.
Yeah, and here we are with another red zone opportunity, right? You know, you look at UConn offensively. They're great in the red zone.
Rolling is Fignano. Looking. Little throwback to the tight end. And that's Alex Honig, who's inside the 5, down to the 3, 9 yards on a creative play call by Gordon Samus.
Another player who, you know, could have left in the portal and stayed with this program. Nice play.
2nd and 1. Fignano, toe! Touchdown! That's Bell.
And he'll get an unsportsmanlike conduct here. It's interesting, Rich.
For the seated celebration.
Look at the defenders. You get 2 defenders going after Murphy, who's been impactful in this game, and leave Bell wide open. Typically, it's the other way around. Bell serving.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 1, his first of the game towards ejection. That 15-yard penalty would be enforced on the kickoff.
I think we've had 4 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties called. Jim Moore is not happy. Whether it's with the call or Bell, I'm not sure.
Well, these are 2 institutions who have had a strong rivalry amongst one another, mostly on the basketball court, but here it is on the gridiron.
Extra point is up and good. Joe Fignano, Skylar Bell, they've been doing magical things all year, and they give UConn a lead against Duke.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Homes.com, the place to find a place. By Subway, keep moving with Subway's new Fresh Fit menu. And by Subaru, love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
You talked about it, Turbo, the rivalry between these two on the hardwood. You see all the stats. UConn, 1 more national title than Duke, 6-5. And they meet here, 2 really good football teams. Obviously, Duke 4-1 in the ACC with title hopes. This is a dangerous returner. That's Hagens up the left side. He took one back 100 yards last week against Clemson, and flags come flying down after a 42-yard return. This has been a penalty-marred first half on both sides.
You know, I love seeing those old basketball highlights. In my other life, I was a college basketball player, Rich.
A stocky point guard?
I don't know if I had quite the handles for that.
It turned out all right, though, as a Super Bowl winning running back. Here's the call.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit, receiving team number 80. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Vance Bulliard. Now, let's go back to that, the penalty in the end zone. The point of emphasis for officials this year is any, threatening throat cut or pistols celebration. That was kind of a wipe of the nose and a little dance, and they flagged him for it.
Yeah, I think he was just saying that He had a cold, maybe. You know, it's chilly here in Connecticut.
Not sure about that. It's another penalty by Duke, another penalty by UConn. Both teams have been guilty of it. Mensah, quick throw, inside throw, and that's Barkate with the catch. He was hit high at the 34-yard line, and he's going to lose 3 yards.
Yeah, Barkate hadn't really gotten involved much in this ball game. There was Smiley there who made the initial hit. And so they're just trying to find different ways to get him the football right now. We talked about that matchup between him and Cam Chadwick, and Chadwick so far seems to be doing a nice job.
Second down, 13. Crowd's been into it from the start. Blitz comes. Mensah runs out of time, and down he goes. Umar Diamande. First sack, 34th of the season for UConn.
Defensive coordinator Matt Brock describes Diamande as a player just playing football at the park. Quiet guy, plays loose, plays free, and finally able to get into the backfield there for a sack, and this crowd is turned up for this aggressive defense.
Third down, 22. And a timeout by Duke.
Yeah.
Charge timeout.
It's hard to understate how big this game is for UConn. This is kind of like their college football playoff game, a shot at a really good ACC team. With a timeout on the field, let's go back to New York. Little studio update. Brent Stover, what's up?
Rich, Big Ten over on CBS. Iowa at home, down 9-0, but Mark Gronowski for DJ Bonami. 3-yard touchdown, 9-7 in the second, guys.
Thank you, Brent. If you're Duke, you've just coming off one of the biggest wins you've had in a long time. And next week, you play Virginia. And you still, Manny Diaz and the Blue Devils have ACC title game hopes, but they have to stop here against Jim Mora and UConn in between those games.
I think you run this football and play the field position game here.
Mensah, quick throw, little inside screen, and it's Higgins, and down he goes. And that was Latu with the stop.
Yeah, Kamoi Latu, we've said his name a few times in this football game. A downhill player from Honolulu, not afraid to come up and make a big hit.
That's Matt Brock, the defensive coordinator, in that red sweatshirt. Second punt for Cade Reynolds. Jackson Harper deep for UConn. Reynolds a line drive. Harper avoids the first wave and is out of bounds. 8 yards on the return. UConn at home and on top of Duke. Entertaining first half as night falls in East Hartford. UConn 17, Duke 14. 3.5 minutes left. First half. Joe Fignano, 250 or more yards, 3 or more touchdowns, and no picks in the last 10 seasons. Most consecutive games. Only Joe Burrow has more than Fignano, and you see the rest of the group behind him. And his running mate, Skylar Bell, it's been impressive to watch him all season long, and this afternoon turning into night here against Duke. Fignano rolls, and he's going to keep it. Fignano dives head first, and Caleb Weaver got a piece of him. 8 yards on the scramble.
Only seen it a few times tonight. Just felt like his targets weren't ready as Fignano was trying to deliver the football down the field. Saw a little bit of green grass and got what he can right there.
A 2nd and 2. This is Rosa. Following a block, he needed 2 yards. He got 2.5, maybe 3, and that's a 1st down. And you got an injury. It looks like Ben Morosky, the huge left tackle, is down. And I mean huge, 6'6", 337.
Time out on the field for an offensive injury.
It's Morosky, the big guy.
There's that big man right there. Just kind of gets caught up in the fray. You know, we asked Gordon Sims, offensive coordinator for UConn, as you were talking about Joe Fagnano, about his NFL talent, if he had any NFL talent. And he said absolutely, it's really his preparation that separates him, the film study. Maybe his arm strength is something that he needs to work on, but you'll certainly see him playing at the next level.
Torian Johnson in at left tackle. That throw behind the receiver, Shamar Porter. It's incomplete. 2nd down and 10. There's Torian Johnson, the sophomore out of Boston.
Another big guy. Ben Morosky, 6'6". Torian Johnson, 6'8", 330 pounds. This is UConn offensive line. You understand why they're so dominant up front. I'd like to see UConn get back down to the run game here. There it is.
This is Greaves trying to get to the outside, slides through 1 tackle, and he's out to the 43. Let's bring up 3rd down and about 6, a long 6.
And we know how much of a strong relationship exists between Joe Fagnano and Skylar Bell, particularly on downs like this, but you can't sleep on number 6, Raymello Murphy, who's made quite a bit of plays in this game, but they're going to take this down to the 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout, entertaining first half. And I know these guys aren't in the same conference. This has been spicy, though. They've been after each other. Coming up, Ram Trucks halftime report. Brent Stover, Kevin Carter, Beanie Wells. Get you caught up on this game and obviously highlights from around the country. It's the Ram Trucks halftime reports. Of course, this is the Ram college football playoff bracket. It's going to be a change at the 12 seed, right? Memphis?
Yeah, they lost last night to Tulane.
Of course, that doesn't not remember, you got to be for that group of 5, you have to be a conference champion to be eligible to make the playoff. Fagnano unloads, contact, and no flags. And that was Bell and Chandler Rivers, which has been a fun matchup to watch throughout this game. And it's going to be 4th down. And UConn is going to have to punt.
Yeah, I thought Fagnano forced that one that time to Bell. He had Murphy on a route towards the sideline, coming open in one-on-one coverage. And that time, Bell, they were in man coverage, but also had a safety over the top. And we've seen that a handful of times tonight, Duke, with 2 defenders on Bell.
Oh, man, that's the 2nd time Stutz has had to go up to get a snap. The first was as a holder on a field goal, and that's going to go all the way through the end zone. It's a 57-yard punt and a touchback. And Duke has a great opportunity here to win the middle 8. Remember, they get the football to start the second half. This win last week, hard to overplay this and what it meant. First road win against Clemson since 1980. 4-1 in the ACC. There's their best conference start since 2014. And the road win streak is impressive as well. And for Manny Diaz, the road ahead is Virginia next week, at North Carolina, then Wake Forest. And that Virginia game is huge. Mensah now, 2-minute drill for Duke. Mensah's throw caught by Anthony, and he's captured immediately by Chadwick. gain of just 3. Clock continues to run. Duke has 2 timeouts.
I'd like to see Duke with a little bit more of a sense of urgency here, but this has been a strength of their season so far, these 2-minute situations.
UConn shows blitz. And drop back. Mensah with time, pumps, scrambles, looks. Oh, he threw it away! And it's picked off by Pringle. Oh, my goodness. His first interception was tipped, but this one was just a flat-out bad throw.
Watch Samir Hagans right here. Goes back to the sidelines at the top of your screen, and he's got him open initially, but Pringle just does a nice job staying with it. And I think this ball, I think he just second-guessed it as he was throwing it. He didn't really put much on it, and Pringle then is able to come down with it. I mean, for the second interception of the night.
Mensah hasn't made too many mistakes this year. He had just 2 picks and 21 touchdowns coming in. This is game number 9. And like I said, the tipped interception really wasn't his fault. This one, though, is a big, big pick.
Yeah, he short-armed that one, Rich.
And now UConn goes to work. This may be a throw. It is for the end zone, and it's incomplete. Again, Terrence Smith used to be an option quarterback in high school, and he had Romello Murphy open, but missed him.
Yeah, threw for 2,000 yards as a high school quarterback, and I thought the right decision to try to hit him on his back shoulder, but just too much of an adjustment there for Murphy to catch that one. I thought the throw was a little late as well. But you knew coming off a big play, Coach Moore was thinking about a shot to the end zone as a little bit of a knockout punch here in the second quarter.
This is a huge opportunity for UConn. 31-yard line at Duke, who blitzes, and Fagnano unloads it quickly. Edwards with the catch, dances out of bounds, stops the clock after a 4-yard gain. However, it's 3rd down.
Nice job by Edwards there, getting out of bounds, stopping the clock. You're able to preserve your timeouts if you're Connecticut. You know, here in this situation, we know Murphy and Skylar Bell are the key players in these moments, but Juice Vereen, number 11 at tight end, also a guy to be aware of here in these 3rd down moments. Has a touchdown already tonight.
Yep, also caught one of those deflected balls. Fagnano, time, and that one he threw way too low, and it looked like Murgott, the linebacker, Luke Murgott, got a hand on it and knocked it down. So,
yeah, got to kick this one.
An opportunity to get 7, and they're going to settle for a field goal attempt of 45 yards.
Looking for Skylar Bell coming across the middle, and Murgott just did a nice job recognizing it, getting his hands up.
Freeman hooked that 42-yarder. This one is good. And so the second interception by the UConn defense adds 3 points to their lead. Just not something you've seen from Darian Mensah much at all this year, a throw like this.
Yeah, double clutched, and I just thought right there he kind of short-armed it.
57.
He threw the ball as if he was just unsure
that
that's where he really wanted to go, and then UConn able to answer and get 3 points. It'll be interesting to see what Duke decides to do here with 51 seconds left to go in the half. They have an explosive enough offense to be able to make plays down the field, but they haven't really challenged UConn's secondary down the field yet tonight, and Cooper Barkate has been extremely quiet. I expect UConn to kick this out of the back of the end zone, but if Duke is able to get a return, it'll be an indicator of how they approach this next offensive series.
And they have a great return game. Hagans has a 100-yarder for a touchdown at Clemson. He took one back against Ole Miss last year. And this one is going to go through the back of the end zone. I think Duke comes out with their guns blazing here.
Well, I would expect the same thing, but the last drive, that everything felt so unsure. The tempo was slower than you would imagine in a 2-minute situation. It didn't feel like they knew what they wanted to do at the line of scrimmage in terms of calling plays. And the result of it ended up being an interception. I think if you're Duke and your Coach Diaz, if you're going to be aggressive, be aggressive and be aggressive from the first play right here. Those short screen passes in this situation, I don't think are going to get it done.
That's on 1st and 10. 4-man rush. Quick throw. And that's Anthony. Not a big gain. Maybe 3. And the clock continues to run. Duke has 2 timeouts.
And they need a chunk play, Rich. They need something 10, 15 yards or more at some point on this drive.
Mensah, another short throw. Anthony is out of bounds. He's still short of the first down. 3rd down and 3. 25 seconds left. First half, UConn at home and on top.
So with 2 timeouts, Duke doesn't have to really concern themselves with throws to the sideline. You can attack the entire field and then call a timeout to stop the clock. I think Mensah and this offense here, they've got to focus on getting something in the middle of the field for a big-time chunk play here.
Mensah scrambling, firing sideline, incomplete. Hazley, the intended receiver, and the UConn defense is going to force a punt.
And Mensah's upset with himself right there. He did a nice job in the scramble drill. Look at the coverage. He maybe had a target there, Anthony across the middle, but he directs 85 Hazley to go up the field and just off the fingertips. I think Mensah upset with himself there. Could have got that ball down a little lower to keep the drive moving.
3rd punt for Duke in this first half. Low line drive. Harper up to get it. That was a dangerous catch. Flags come roaring down at the 31-yard line. 10 seconds left in a very entertaining first half. Couple of Duke interception throws. That man hasn't thrown an interception all year. Vignano. And this feels like
Doing a return. Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 18. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Like that. And so Jim Moore right now making notes, taking names, and probably going to take a knee.
Oh, yeah.
And then head to the locker room with a 20-14 halftime lead.
Yeah, Vignano's going to take this snap, take a knee. Or perhaps they'll run the football out here.
Edwards left side, tumbles across the 25 out to the 28. 2 terrific quarterbacks, 2 fun offenses. Duke's hot, UConn's playing great, and an entertaining first half. Back in East Hartford, UConn a 20-14 lead at the half. Rich Waltz, Robert Turbin, Tiffany Blackman joins us shortly. Entertaining first half, no doubt. Some big plays and some not so big plays. Penalties and a couple of picks in this half.
Yeah, both teams got off to a little bit of a hot start, then it kind of plateaued. But Darian Mensah, quarterback for Duke, we talked about this quarterback matchup and just a couple of tough decisions there. You see the tip pass for an interception, and then right there, short arms that one for his second pick of the night. Vignano and Skylar Bell, well, They're just back to business tonight, able to find him there on the sideline, and then a touchdown throw across the middle in that goal line area. And so it'll continue to be the big story of the second half.
Game Trends brought to you by Subway. Mensa had thrown just 2 picks all year, 2 in the first half. Fignano still hasn't thrown an interception at all this season. He's 24 touchdowns and no picks. And Bell, for the most part, I know he has 8 catches, but it felt like Duke kind of kept him under control. He didn't have really a big breakout play. Duke, of course, won the toss initially, wanted the ball in the second half. And I think that's what that pick late really was double jeopardy, right? It led to a score, and it kept them from being able to win those middle minutes. Let's check in with Tiffany Blackman. Hi, Tiff.
Hey, guys. I spoke with Duke coach Manny Diaz about some of the uncharacteristic play from Darian Mensah, and he told me we can fix that in regards to those 2 interceptions, and one of the ways they can do that is to get back to running the football. He also told me that he feels like UConn's offense is controlling the game, so they want to get some more stops defensively. On the UConn side, guys, just got some injury updates for you. Safety Lee Mollett and left tackle Ben Morawski, both of those guys are doubtful to return.
All right, thank you, Tiffany. 54 yards on the ground was Duke in the first half, so if they're going to want to run it more, they're going to have to clean that running game up. Mensah rolling, fires wide open there. Barkate with the catch. That's a guy you want to get going if you're Duke, is Cooper Barkate.
You have to imagine, Rich, in the second half, that's going to be a huge point of emphasis, is getting Cooper Barkate involved in this offense. A very quiet first half, and if this offense wants to get going for Duke, he's got to get more involved.
Duke needs a drive like they had to start the game. I mean, their first possession, as that's a 3-yard run right there by Shepard. Their first possession, 3 plays, 55 yards, 3 chunk plays, and a touchdown.
Yeah, very similar to how they started the game against Clemson last week, but then had a dull there in the second quarter, very similar to the night. Second quarter hasn't been the strength of Duke. Do you imagine that here in the second half, they'll get going offensively?
You see Matt Brock in a defensive stance there, the D coordinator for UConn. This is Shepard. And Shepard gets out to the 49, and that's a first down. Move the sticks. Duke is rolling a bit here, and it's on the ground. 9 yards on that carry.
When this Duke offense has been rolling tonight, as we see the downfield blocking by Barkate, he's been doing quite a bit of that tonight. Look at that back and forth between him and Chadwick, one of our key matchups of the game. But when this offense gets rolling on the ground, that's where things can become more efficient for Mensah.
Right near midfield. Shepard slips through this time and stays on his feet, breaks a couple tackles, carries 2 men inside the 25, and that's where they mark it. And boy, what a great report by Tiffany. Spot on. 26 more yards on the ground here.
Does this remind you of anything, Rich? About the first quarter?
Yes.
Being able to get those chunk plays on the ground.
No chunks there. Diamande makes the stop. Gain of maybe half a yard, essentially second down and about 10. You know, the one thing is you see Matt Brock, his defense coming away with 2 interceptions. UConn has a 20-14 lead. Had they been able to cash in with a better ratio in the first half, that lead would be more extensive. Jaquez Moore in the game. Play action Mensah. He's going to keep it. He's got room up the field and out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Chadwick chased him out. Really nice work by Darian Mensah.
Now Mensah's playing with some poise, right? He's rolling out. He sees Hazley in the flat. He tells him to point up, knowing that UConn is in man coverage. And so guarding him right there was Donovan Branch, who turns his back to Mensah. And Mensah sees green grass, and he just takes what the defense gives him right there, not forcing anything.
Moore didn't see a lot of time, if any, in the first half, but he's back behind Mensah. First and 10. This is Moore, and Moore races inside the 5. and he's down to the 3. Jonathan Brewer, the offensive coordinator, told us about this guy. He's going to help us win a football game at some point this year. Jaquez Moore.
Yeah, he had some really high praise for the work ethic that Jaquez Moore puts into his game, and he's a big play waiting to happen. And right there, yeah, close to the end zone. I know as a running back, when you get this close, well, you can smell the end zone from right there. Let's see if they give it to him again.
2nd and less than a yard. This is Moore. This time, I think he has the first down. And this should set up 1st and goal from the 3.
And so now, the entire playbook is opened up to you for offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer. And because you've been so effective running a football on this drive, a play action play in this area, fake run pass, could potentially be very fruitful for you and end up in the score.
First and goal, Duke on the doorstep. Shepard, and he's in. Nate Shepard. And this did look a lot like that first drive in the first half. Duke looking so sharp offensively, and most of the damage done on the ground.
Just a true freshman, and scored the game-winning touchdown last week against Clemson. Coach Manny Diaz said this kid has all the talent in the world to become a great college running back, earn the starting job at training camp, wowed the coaches, and has had a good season so far.
8 carries, 69 yards tonight for Shepard. And even though the 2 picks certainly stung in the first half, here's Duke back on top. And a true freshman shall lead them. Nate Shepard into the end zone. Tuesday at 7 Eastern, CBS Sports Network. It's basketball season, kids. And number 6, Duke, is at Army. How about that? Duke and Army. Coach K's got to love this. Of course, he started his career as a player for Bob Knight, assistant coach there at Army. 73 wins, his 6th most in Army history. And the rest of his career turned out pretty good too, right? 5 NCAA championships.
Just 5. Nothing crazy.
That game at West Point.
All right.
And of course, as you noted, Duke and UConn, you think about basketball, this has been a terrific football game. And earlier, Coach K had his thoughts on Duke-UConn basketball.
Duke and UConn have had a great basketball history. We've won a couple, but they've won a couple more. When I think of Duke and UConn, I think of the great coaching of Jim Calhoun. He was really one of the great architects, maybe the greatest one in college basketball.
AP Top 10, there's Duke at number 6, Purdue, Houston, Florida. How about UConn at number 4? In fact, Danny Hurley this week implored UConn fans to get out and fill this stadium, and they have. This is a big crowd, biggest of the year, maybe biggest in some time. This place holds about 35,000. Huge tailgating when we rolled up 3 hours before kickoff. And they've been treated to a fun game and a 1-point Duke lead.
Yeah, fans were excited for this one. A lot of buzz around the town when I got in a couple days ago. But, you know, for UConn offensively, it's about finishing drives. They've left a lot of points out on the field, settling for a couple field goals there in the first half.
Bell's in motion. Fenley flagged down, and he misses Bell, who was being chased by Chandler Rivers. The flag was back in the offensive backfield, looked like a hold. That battle between Bell and Rivers has been fun to watch. Bell has his catches, but he hasn't had that big, long chunk play.
Holding. Defense number 99. 10-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, it's Aaron Hall, and that's, look, I told you it was going to be a hold, but I had no clue that it was going to be on Duke. Terrence Smith, 15. You could see 99 grab him. And Fignano has been knocked to the ground a lot.
Taking those all night.
Pocket. He hit again. That up the seam. Caught there. Raymelo Murphy. Ball is loose, but I think Murphy was down. Fignano was hit as he drove that ball right up the seam. And Murphy, who had the good first half, hauls in another for 30 yards.
Well, let's take a look and see if he held this to the ground. Boom. I think, yep. That ball caused a fumble there.
The ruling on the field of a completed pass is under further review.
There's catch hit. Looks like he was down before that ball came out. I think he's going to be down by contact, but
I will go one step further. You call that a completed catch? 1, 2, yeah.
No doubt.
Football move.
Yeah, completed catch. And how about the throw there by Fignano? I mean, he's been under some duress tonight, Rich, and he's taken a couple hits, and he's continued to display the toughness to stand there in the pocket and deliver the football accurately.
And that's an underrated thing for a quarterback in college football. How are you under duress? It's one of the advanced metrics that have crept into the college game. And Mensah's really good at it, and Fignano's really good at it. Not panicking, waiting, taking a hit, but delivering the ball.
Yeah, and a lot of these coaches now, Rich, when they go out into the portal, they're looking at quarterbacks. They're looking at those numbers in terms of, okay, completion percentage under pressure, completion percentage when there's a defender on the receiver, right? Because any quarterback can throw a receiver.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
So it's upheld there. So catch. Any quarterback can throw it to an open target, right? But can you throw a wide receiver open? Some of those things that these coaches are looking at nowadays.
Remember I said Bell doesn't have the big chunk play? Well, Raymelo Murphy does. 4 catches, 94 yards.
And he's been a solid number 2 receiver this season to Skylar Bell.
Edwards in the backfield. Play action. Fignano fires, man open, caught. That's Vereen, the tight end. And Vereen is down to the 7, 15 more yards.
And again, Fignano had to throw a fadeaway to complete this ball to Vereen. And nice job just putting it right there in the breadbasket for him to get some extra yardage.
Quick pitch, Edwards, right side, dancing, and busted out of bounds at about the 3 or the 4.
So this is what we talked about, Rich, all right? UConn had to settle for 2 field goals in that first half. They missed one. They would have got 9 points, but had those been touchdowns, I mean, that's 21 points right there that you could have had. And so the key here, they've been good in the red zone all season. And the key here in this drive, they've got to finish in the end zone.
2nd and goal at the 3. Edwards, the backfield. Play clock's down. Let's see if they get it off. They do. Fignano, quick throw, and it's incomplete. That play looked confusing from the very start.
Well, Fignano tried to make an adjustment there at the line of scrimmage, and number 35 that time.
It's Andrew Pellicciota.
He wasn't fooled at all. So I think 4-down territory right here if you're UConn. Duke, you got to be thinking about attacking the football, trying to create a takeaway.
3rd down goal, little pitch. Rosa, oh, another great play. Trey Freeman. And what will UConn do now after another nice defensive stop?
Prior to the ball becoming loose. 4th down.
Pelliciotta had the first, and Freeman has the second.
I thought Fignano, that's a speed option play. He's got to press that closer. Look at this. He's got to press that closer and try to draw a defender towards him before pitching that ball out to the running back.
All right, so Freeman is a chip shot. This will give them the lead. And it's good, but to your point, it's the 3rd time now in the red zone. UConn has had to settle for a field goal attempt. They've left points on the board, but they lead this game by 2. UConn has the lead, but for Duke, a big 3rd down play on 3rd and goal by Trey Freeman is large.
Yeah, well, the guy they want to read right there is the defensive end, number 97. That's Wesley Williams, but he gets blocked. And so Fignano, he's got to keep that ball to the line of scrimmage, and you're taught as a quarterback not to pitch it until you're able to draw a defender to you, or if the defender decides to go to the running back, you keep it yourself and you plant your foot and you cut it up inside and try to score. And so I just thought a little too predetermined there on the pitch by Fignano, but a nice job by Duke rallying to the football and getting the stop.
Again, dangerous return man warning here. Samir Hagans, we told you he's got 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, and they're trying to kick it over his head, and they do here. And so Duke will come out at the 25. Subaru, drive of the game. This is how it started, right? Through the air, but the rest was all on the ground.
It sure was, and Mensa was a part of that as well, utilizing his feet. Give a lot of credit to Nate Shepard and this running back crew and getting in the end zone. He's got 2 of them tonight.
Remember, just 54 yards on the ground to start, 62 on that drive. So that's exactly what Manny Diaz told Tiff. And see if they stay with that game plan here on the 2nd possession. Brown's in motion. Mensa's in the pocket. Steps up. There's Brown on the flats. Makes the catch and races up. And just a little bit of a flip turns into a nice 14, 15-yard gain.
And Keyshawn Brown's just got such quick acceleration and so much speed. I mean, look how quickly he gets down the sideline. And those are the plays that get your offense in rhythm.
Shepard's in, and Shepard is hit. Tyrese Mills coming up to make the stop. And then he ends up at the 44-yard line. It's a 5-yard carry.
And how about the strength for a true freshman, Rich? I mean, Tyrese Mills comes up. He's a 5th-year senior. And he makes a nice pop on him, and he's still able to keep his feet moving and fall forward.
As you see with true freshmen, he was able to get to campus for spring football. And in the spring, they thought, you know what, this guy may end up starting. And he has. That's Brown with the catch. And that's another nice play. Mensa's on target here. Parham made the stop. 11 more yards. Chains move. And it's 1st and 10 for the 45 of UConn. Matt Brock, the defensive coordinator.
Haven't seen much blitz in the second half from this UConn defense. Usually that's the type of style that they like to play in terms of being aggressive. Let's see if defensive coordinator Matt Brock dials something up here.
Mensa's 13 of 18, a touchdown and 2 picks. And Shepard gets 3. Shepard is the younger brother of Will Shepard, the wide receiver who started his career at Vandy, then went to Colorado. He's on a practice squad in the NFL right now. Lots of time. Mensa short throw. Caught by the big tight end, Hazley, and Hazley is loose inside the 20. And the big man, 6'3", 245, gets to the 16-yard line. Duke's in business.
And Hazley had some big plays against Clemson last week. And look at the elusiveness right there, making a move for a big chunk play there to get the first down.
Shepard blasts down to the 6. That's a gain of 11. And the sticks are going to move, and it's 1st and goal. This game, man, these offenses clicking here in the second half. 88 yards on 11 carries here now for Shepard.
The thing you notice with the tempo offense is the defense for UConn can't get lined up.
Shepard again, just powering his way. Mills makes the hit and the stop at the 4.
So here you are, Duke now. They finished the drive in the red zone on their first possession to start this second half. Does UConn have it in them to be able to get a goal line, a red zone goal line stop here and hold Duke to 3? Haven't even seen Cooper Barkate in on this drive. Number 18, number 1 wide receiver for Duke.
2nd and goal. Shepard's stopped. Whoa, he rolls over. He may be in. He is. That's a touchdown. He rolled over the defender, and I don't think his knee or forearm or anything touched. He got kind of he kind of got tossed into the end zone here. Let's see.
On the field of a touchdown is under
that
further
elbow
review.
may have hit. The hand was down. The wrist is not down, but if that left elbow hits, there. Oof.
That's close. I don't know. It's a good heads-up play by Nate Shepard.
This is a better look.
Reach that football out, and this is why you just never stop as a running back on a play. You get hit, you just keep going.
That forearm is down, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is going to be 3rd and goal from the 1, you would expect. The wrist is part of the hand, but once you get to the forearm or the elbow, that's down.
Yep. And I think Duke on the 3rd down here, they're gonna come out with a play action pass if this touchdown is not upheld. And then if you're Duke, I think, if you're Manny Diaz, I think you're sitting in 4 down territory right here. Be aggressive. You're on the road.
This is an ACC crew. And collaborative replay in the ACC Center.
Now, I expect.
After further review, the runner was short of the goal line. The ball is placed at the 1.5-yard line.
I expect UConn to go all out on the run here, which I think allows Duke to have a play action pass, a fake run throw on tap here for this play.
3rd and goal, Shepard and Mensah in the backfield. Shepard hit, drives. Is he in? No, he's not in.
They're going to go for it.
Diamande on the stop. That's at the half-yard line.
But Nate Shepard, his effort is just, it's priceless. He's almost in there on the second effort, spins around, but Duke, as expected, they're going to go for this. They're on the road. The ball is at the half-inch line. There's a multitude of things that you can do right here. I think you've got play action pass. You see big number 4, Anderson Castellan at running back now. He's their physical guy. They may end up having to call a timeout.
I think you're
under 10 seconds left to go here, but you can go quarterback sneak as well.
Well, UConn is making a defensive change. Duke is trying to snap it. They do. Somebody called a timeout. Jim Mora raced down.
That's a good timeout.
And I think Mora felt like his defense should have had time to make a change.
Yeah. He's talking to the referees now.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout, UConn, they're first.
And he's upset too, Rich,
seconds.
because he knows how valuable, especially in a close game like this, those timeouts can be in the second half. And he feels like his defense, there was some substitution there going on offensively for Duke. And he's right. You know, UConn should have had time to be able to substitute their guys.
And Jim Mora is adamant about this.
So look, here it is.
Yeah, there's the change.
There's
now,
the change.
by rule, UConn should be allowed to
sub, right.
sub. And the officials should hold the snap up.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, you got to stay there. He's got to stay there.
They burned a timeout, and here we go.
Wow.
Castle is the running back. Yep. More of a power runner. 4th and goal for the half-yard line. Over center is Mensah. Mensah rolling, looking, flips it up, and it's caught. That's a touchdown. Landon King, the tight end. What a call.
Yeah, they go with the old roll right play. And that's a little bit of a push off there by Landon King, but nice concentration. He's got 3 touchdowns on the season, make that 4 now. And just a nice job by Mensah floating that football right there, the back corner of the end zone, and putting it in a place where only Landon King could catch it.
10 plays, 75 yards, and Duke gets the touchdown.
That was Amir Rennewick in coverage.
Extra point is up and good. And in the exchange, UConn actually had to burn a timeout. That may come back to haunt them. Duke is in the end zone. Nice touch by Mensah. Great catch by King. And a terrific game gets even better in East Hartford.
Want the latest on today's games? Just tell Siri. Show me the college football scores.
Well, how about an eye on the ACC? SMU rolling. Miami leads Syracuse 21-3. And North Carolina and Stanford 3-3. That's in the 4th inning, apparently. That's early. While we were away, Jim Mora was still heated in a very animated discussion with the officials, still feeling like he should have been able to make a defensive substitution without burning that timeout. This is Rosa off of the return.
It's a really nice move.
Well, from the half-yard line, 4th and goal, here you go.
Yep, I mean, this is what we call roll right. You get the running back in the flat, then you get the tight end over the top. You're creating a high-low situation. In this play, particularly, you want to go low to high. The running back is actually the first read. He gets covered up, so he goes up top to his tight end, and there's Mora. And he's unhappy, as he should be, in terms of, you know, having to burn a timeout, A, and B, not being able to get the substitution there on his defense.
Namelo Murphy in motion. Vignano's throw caught there. That's Snyder, the converted quarterback who was a player of the year in Connecticut as a quarterback in high school, has really found a home as a wide receiver here. 7 yards on that catch.
Yeah, one of their do-it-all players. He plays on the special teams units.
Actually, that's 9 yards on that catch. That's second and less than a yard now. That's where they spotted him.
Yeah, call those guys lunch pail guys.
Edwards in the backfield. Edwards has it. Gains a yard. Preston Watson makes the stop. That's a first down.
So this is football. You know, not everything's going to go your way, right? You know, you're going to have some some choice calls. You know, the ball's going to bounce on the other side sometimes. If you're UConn, you just got to stay poised in this situation. You got to understand, hey, you know, we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot not finishing drives in the end zone. That's got to be the mindset now moving forward for this offense.
It is an ACC officiating crew. Obviously, Duke out of the ACC. UConn independent. Fignano, short throw. Edwards makes the catch, and they salvage about 5 yards out of that play. 2nd down and 5.
You know, the thing that you like about Fignano, although Skylar Bell is the #1 target, you know, he has the ability to entrust and find other guys and get them involved within this offense as well. But I will say, you know, at some point, because, you know, Skylar Bell has been fairly quiet here to start this second half, and as we enter into the 4th quarter, you're going to need your playmakers to make big plays.
2nd down 5. Smith. And Terrence Smith going to lose a yard. This is a 3rd down. Final seconds evaporate. 3rd quarter. Back and forth they've gone. Duke and UConn, 28-23. Blue Devils headed to the 4th. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, built by the Home Depot. On to the 4th, Duke by 5. Manny Diaz moments ago with Tiffany Blackman.
Coach, you all have been trading touchdown for touchdown. What do you want to see from your defense and how they can slow this UConn offense on this drive?
Well, they got the field goal, and red zone stops is what this game's going to be about. You've got 2 very good offenses that are feeling themselves right now, so you got to find a way to get stopped.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
All right, Tiffany, and now Duke has a chance to make a stop here. 3rd down 6. UConn their own 37.
Bell at the top.
Fignano looking to the sideline. Has a man open. That's Snyder with the catch. And Snyder rambles up the sideline and gets blasted out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That is a big chunk play. Now the officials right now are... There's a flag down at the 42.
Offense number 80. 15-yard penalty.
Oh, offensive interference. So that's Snyder who pushed off to get some room. That's a huge flag. Let's look.
I don't know about that one, Rich.
Well, the fact the defender went down probably sold the call.
Yeah, but it looked to me just lost his footing in the back pedal. They're being physical with one another. I didn't really see much of a push off there.
Boy, that just changes everything. That goes back to the 22-yard line. And this is 3rd down at 21. Fignano looking downfield. He's going to keep it and try to avoid a hit. He's well short of the 1st down. Williams is there to get him, and that penalty flag essentially ends this drive and will get Duke the ball back. Let's go back and take another angle at this.
So there they are. They're engaged. And, yeah, I have to say I disagree with that one on the PI there.
Penalties are pretty even, and they've hurt both sides. Brown is deep, and that's a fake. UConn with the fake, Honig up the sideline, and he's got the 1st down. Alex Honig, a short snap. This was 4th down and about 8. And they got it by a bunch, 26 yards.
And Duke, Rich, they were expecting it. You saw the defenders dropping out of it.
So that's Connor Stutz, the punter, selling it.
And they're still able to execute it.
Huge play. Fignano. Honig again. And he's got 11 more yards and a 1st down. This guy is, 6'6", 265. He's out of Germany. He was a quarterback when he showed up here.
Yeah.
A quarterback from Germany at that size, and they turned him into a tight end.
Yeah, he's a quarterback at TCU and really could have left to Alabama in the portal, decided to stay, and they're happy to have him.
No kidding. Just short of the first down, and Edwards is going to pick it up. What wild swings on this drive, right? That the offensive interference call that called back a big chunk play, then the fake punt, and now here's UConn inside the 25.
That fake punt really a call at the perfect time. I mean, Duke's offense has been humming, and I know Jim Moore is not happy about this. He let Duke substitute and not my defense.
Fignano has room. Fignano to the 10, to the 7. And UConn, what a turn of events, 17 yards on the scramble.
Yeah, and it seems like this offense found new life after the fake punt that went for first down by Honig, and here they are in this situation again. The question mark is now, are they able to finish the drive in the end zone?
They've had to settle for field goals 3 times, missed one of them. Edwards just got upended. Boy, Mekhi Jones got a piece of his foot. He still picked up yardage.
Now, it's a big-time tackle by Jones, and I know Edwards beating himself up right there. Couldn't keep his balance and stay on his feet.
Second down goal. Edwards right side. Edwards end zone. Touchdown, UConn.
So I think you go for 2 right here for UConn and try to make a 3-point game. See what they decide to do, but a nice job here by Cam Edwards. We talked about it at the start of the game. UConn felt like their run game would have success on the edges of the Duke defense, and it's been up and down, but right there, Edwards able to find a gap and get into the end zone. And they are going to go for 2 here.
11 plays, a lot of twists and turns along the way for 78 yards. Fignano flexes out. Nick Evers, backup quarterback, is in. Evers pitches. Fignano's looking end zone, getting chased, fires, and it's picked off. That can be returned for 2. Williams is knocked out of bounds. All of that, and Duke stops the 2-point try. And of course, the drive looked dead until Alex Honig on a short snap on a fake punt rambled up the sidelines. Edwards would score. And Duke stops the 2-point try. What a fun game this has been, and this is our Hampton Inn game summary. 29-28, UConn up by a point. Duke turning it over twice. UConn having to settle for field goals 4 times, kicking 3, missing 1. The ground game has come back for Duke. A fake punt by UConn extended that drive. And we got like 11 minutes still on the clock. Hagen's dangerous. And UConn gets him at the 20-yard line. Good special teams, a lot of emotion here. That was John Morris on the stop. We check in with Tiffany Blackman as a flag is thrown down, not by Tiffany, but I think the officials.
You know, these teams.
Was it a flag or a towel? I don't think it was a towel.
Okay.
So no flag.
There's the towel.
It was a towel, and no Tiffany, but we're going down there in a second. Look at it, it's a Husky towel too. You can see the Husky on it. Moore's in the backfield. Duke's turn now. Mensah's cleaned up his game. 2 picks in the first half. Scrambling here. And Mensah is going to pick up about 7 yards. And it'll be 2nd down and 3.
That time Mensah takes it himself. You know, this ground game has really been key for both teams. We talked about the quarterbacks and how great they are, but both teams averaging about 6 yards per carry. It's been impactful.
Moore trying to bounce outside, stuffed short of the first down. 29-yard line will be 3rd down and 1.
Yeah.
Brian Parham makes the stop.
Keep in mind now, tonight Duke has not been able to convert on 3rd down tonight. They're 0 for 4. They struggled last week on 3rd down against Clemson, only converting 3 out of their 12 opportunities. And this is the key one here. They're in their own territory. You see big number 4, Anderson Castle, in the game. I expect him to get this football.
Castle behind Mensah. Barcade in motion. And this is Castle busting inside or outside the 30. And it looks like he's got the first down. That's the first 3rd down conversion all game for Duke. They're 1 of 5 now. 1st and 10 now. Mensah to throw. Has time. Fires sideline there. Barcade with the catch. And Barcade out to the 47-yard line. It's 15 more yards.
You know, he hasn't had quite the night we expect, but you know, when the ball has been thrown his way, it has had a positive impact in terms of converting for first downs tonight.
Castle to the 47-yard line. 6 yards on that carry. And a Husky is down right now.
Time out
also
on the field
have
for a defensive injury.
Jeremiah Hazley, tight end for Duke, limping off the field as well.
Timeout on the field.
Timeout on the field. Timeout in the booth. Back after this, 29-28, UConn.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton and delivered by Little Caesars.
In East Hartford, a terrific football game tonight. Duke, upper division ACC team. UConn, an independent. Duke down 1 on the move, 2nd and 4. They'll keep it on the ground, and that's Moore, the senior, off the left side. And he cracks a nice run, 8 yards and a first down.
You know, it's interesting the adjustment Duke has made. You know, their offense wants to be one that drives the ball down the field in the passing game, but it's been the ground game that has helped them be efficient and successful tonight.
Boy, no kidding. In the second half especially, they were just 52 yards in the first half, and they're close to 100 on the ground here in the second half.
Yeah, when we talked to offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer about their game plan, he says, look, we want to run the ball, but we want to throw the ball deep. And it's really something we haven't seen tonight from Duke in terms of their game plan. But, you know, sometimes you have to make the adjustment depending on how defenses are playing you. And it seems like that's what Duke has done tonight.
Mensah, a touchdown pass here in the second half. 2nd down, 9. Throws it up the middle, caught by Hazley, the big tight end, and he rumbles down inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. Mills made the stop, 19 more yards. Duke on the move. And another Husky is down.
On the field for a defensive injury.
Another injury. Jim Mora enters the scene. We'll step aside from East Hartford. College football on CBS Sports Network, built by the Home Depot. In East Hartford, UConn's up by a point, but Duke is knocking on the door. 7:10 left. Curvins Chute, Coconut Creek, Florida, a fine city. And he's back on his feet, looks to be okay. UConn's defense, though, right now, not okay. They are having trouble stopping the run game of Duke. Mensah by himself. Shepard behind him. See red zone scoring. That's Shepard. And Shepard is hauled out of bounds. See where they mark it, right around the 11. That's Diamande with the stop, 7 yards on the carry.
One of the hardest things to teach a freshman, especially in that outside run scheme, is to continue to stay on that track and not cut it downhill until something forces you to. And so Nate Shepard, to show the discipline right there in terms of running the football, he's got high IQ for a young player.
UConn having trouble getting lined up right now. And Shepard over the right side, hit short of the first down. But it looked like mass confusion in the second and third level before the snap.
And this is really where UConn hasn't been the strongest. Here in the red area, red zone, goal line area, Duke has found ways to make plays and get into the end zone. You know, you wonder if defensive coordinator Matt Brock has something up his sleeve to bring extra pressure to try to get a stop here.
3rd and 1, 11th play of the drive. Castle is behind Mensah. Mensah, play action, little flip, touchdown! Hazley wide open. And a great play fake by Darian Mensah. And Duke back on top.
What a chess match. So Matt Brock, as expected, he dials up some pressure. And Duke then, offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer, counters that with a play action run. And then able to find his tight end there, Jeremiah Hazley, in the back of the end zone. Just nice execution by Duke.
You see that drive, 79 yards, 11 plays. Now Duke is going to go for 2. UConn went for 2 after their last score and didn't get it.
Go for 2, try to make this a 7-point game.
Mensah looking, back foot throw, and it's knocked out of the air at the back of the end zone, and so UConn turns away a 2-point attempt. But a sweet 3rd and 1 play action flip to the tight end, Jeremiah Hazley, and back and forth, we're still going. 34. Coming into this football game, Darian Mensah, a splendid year, had thrown just 2 interceptions all season. He threw 2 picks in the first half. But man, has he bounced back. 9 straight completions here, 3 touchdown passes. He's 19 of 24. This kid can really play. He's just a sophomore.
Yeah, and we had a chance to talk with him in our meetings, and he talked about loving big moments in big games, and the reason why he plays quarterback is because, you know, he wants the football. He wants the football in critical moments, not backing down from any of the challenges that come throughout a game.
That one through the end zone, and now UConn has to hop back up on the horse. More college football. Utah State hosting Nevada in prime time. That's tonight, 7:30 Eastern, right here on CBS Sports Network. Robert Turbo, a legend there in Logan. Home field advantage, large, as you were. Look at that, 480 a game offensively for your Aggies.
Yes. It's a beautiful place to play, Rich. By the way, the I believe that we will win chant, I want to put on the record, was created at Utah State.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in San Diego that don't agree with that. So here comes UConn. Bell on a quick screen, finding a lane and spilling out to the 33-yard line. And we check in with Tiffany Blackman.
Hey, Rich, I go back to our meetings. I remember you asking Fignano about the recognition that they may not be getting on the national level, and his response was, we always feel like we've got something to prove, but it's more about proving it to themselves and this team, and less about the outside, he said. They truly believe in themselves. They've got a brotherhood, and he's displaying that tonight with the way he's been hanging in there, taking shots, trying to battle for his guys.
That's great stuff, Tiff, and a terrific point. And for them, this is sort of a college football playoff game. Bell outside, and he's close to midfield. I mean, look, UConn is an independent. They have trouble scheduling. They have a permanent chip on their shoulder. Here they have an upper division ACC team coming into their place. They can't make the college football playoff. They are going bowling for the second year in a row. They were 9-4 last year.
Yeah.
But this game for them holds such great importance.
It really does, especially because Duke just beat Clemson, and they're rising within their own conference in the ACC. But, you know, Coach Moore has done a fantastic job, 6-7 and 3-9 the first two seasons, 9-4 and 6-3, you know, right now. And so turn this into a winning program.
Fignano holds it and then delivers to Murphy for the catch. Boy, it didn't look like anybody was open. He extended the play, and then Murphy cleared for the completion.
It showed the patience, right? Kept his eyes up the field, didn't panic, and able to find a target there coming across the middle. Murphy, and he's been a key piece tonight in this offense. A lot of their success has been due to the efforts of Murphy tonight.
And just like that, UConn in Duke territory at the 36-yard line. Fignano. Edwards. Oh, what a great play there. Vincent Anthony Jr. from his Viper position. That's a loss of 5.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Vincent Anthony Jr. much tonight. He's one of their impact players on the defense, and you know, one of the things that stood out to me in our meetings with him is how much film he watches, especially the old film. He talked about how he admires Charles Haley from back in the days, huh?
He even, I mean, like, he went back into the 60s and the 70s, the fearsome foursome.
Yeah.
Deacon Jones. That was impressive. Murphy in motion. Second down and a bunch. In and out of the hands of Honig. Throw was a little high. Weaver on the coverage. And now UConn and Honig.
That was an ugly hit,
Time out
Rich.
on the field for an offensive injury.
Down.
There's a high-low.
Ooh. Yeah, and he grabbed the knee right away. Honig is a guy that when NFL scouts have come through stores, they have a great practice facility on the UConn campus. This is one of the guys they ask about and want to look to. And that's one of the drawing points for a guy like Fignano or Honig, and that is come to Connecticut. You're going to play for an NFL-type coach in an NFL-type program. This entire program is modeled after an NFL franchise, from practices to the coaches to the offense they run, the defense they run.
Yep.
And that's, I think, in some cases kept players here when they could have gotten some more money. They do have NIL here.
Yep.
Some players could have gotten more money to leave, have stayed because of that.
It's really good to see Honig walk off the field like that, Rich. But, you know, to your point, there's an emphasis by Coach Jim Mora to try to get guys to the next level. And it's a huge reason why guys want to play for him.
This is an ambitious third down. They're 3 of 11 on third. Fignano throw, caught there. That's going to be close. That becomes, as Juice Vereen picked up more yardage, now a fourth down conversion is a little more palatable.
Yeah, really nice by Vereen. One-on-one situation, makes a guy miss, and that's what you want to see out of your impact players. You got to be able to make guys miss in space, and makes this fourth down much more manageable.
Boy, this is a huge play. 1 of 1 on fourth down. Remember, that was a fake punt. 31-yard line of Duke. Got to get to the 26.
There's the matchup up top. Skylar Bell, Chandler Rivers.
Fignano, lots of time. Over the middle, caught. That's Juice Vereen, and he holds on. And UConn has a first down, 13 yards. Wow.
Timeout on the field for an offensive injury.
And we're starting to see some big hits in this fourth quarter as well, but his first option was to go to Skylar Mays, and I got to tell you, Rich, Chandler Rivers with really nice coverage on Skylar Mays on that last play. So he goes to his second option, and you got to credit Joe Fignano for being able to go through his progression right there.
Let's check in with Tiffany Blackman. Tiff?
You guys, I'm watching Juice Vereen being helped, actually lifted towards the tent, guys, right now as we speak. I'll send it back to you, Rich, real fast.
Into the end zone. Caught! Caught! It's Bell! It's a touchdown! Wow! There is a flag down at the 14-yard line.
Offside. Defense number 7. That penalty's declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Skylar Bell. And this coverage was tight.
And I got to ask this week if there was a comp player for Skylar Bell, as Landon Callahan there was in coverage for Duke. Surprised not to see Chandler Rivers on him, who on the play before was able to lock him down. But Skylar Bell, he reminds me a lot of Steve Smith from his time at the Carolina Panthers, just making those tough catches.
It's a good comp. So this play apparently under review.
Well, it looked like, oh, he's out of bounds.
Was he pushed out, though?
And he's back in bounds. And makes a great catch.
And this review is over. They're going to go for 2. So the review, whatever it was reviewing, whether it was out of bounds or catch, was pretty brief.
Well, he was able to reestablish. So here's the 2-point conversion.
To try to make it a 3-point lead. Fignano rolling, looking, and he's going to try to get it himself. I don't know. The pylon was dislodged. The official says no. Fignano gets blasted.
The goal line. The try is no good.
And the try is no good. Here's Fignano trying to get to the pylon. Let's see if he got there.
Oh, that is really close.
That is really close.
The ruling on the field of the runner being short of the goal line is under further review.
Enormous review here. 2-point conversion. Fignano dove for the pylon. The original call is he didn't make it.
After further review, we have a successful 2-point try.
Oh, they've given it to him. They overturned the call. Wow. So the lead is 3 now for UConn.
Man.
And the official must have felt enough ball was on that pylon before Fignano was out of bounds.
Yeah.
So the conversion is good. 37-34. Duke has all 3 timeouts and a lot of time. 1:58.
Yeah, and it feels like it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last in this football game. Both offenses have been explosive tonight.
Whew.
That was a big call right there, but I thought the right call. It was close, but I did think Fignano got in on that 2-point.
Neither defense has been able to stop either offense here in the second half, which means Duke, down 3, has plenty of time and plenty of pop left. That one's into the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. Coming up next, into the studio, Inside College Football. Lots of highlights from today here on CBS Sports Network. We told you at the outset of this game that on this busy Saturday in college football, this was a hidden gem. 2 really good quarterbacks, 2 fun offenses. And man, has it been all of that here tonight.
Yeah, you called it, Rich. This has been quite a gem to witness tonight. And if you're Duke, you got all 3 timeouts. You're in no rush right here. I go back to the ground game and see what you can do at the line of scrimmage here first.
We see that 8 lead changes in this game. Mensah scrambling, stopping, flipping. In traffic, it's broken up. Boy, Hazley had it, and then Parham pried it loose. It's 2nd and 10.
So one of the things that they wanted Mensah to do a little bit better this year is, hey, look, if it's not there, we know you're a playmaker. Throw the football away if your targets aren't open and live to play the next down. Offensive coordinator Jonathan Brewer, let me call the next play, was something he explained to us. Got to make good decisions if you're Mensah in this situation.
2nd down 10. Mensah flushed and chased, fires it out of bounds. 3rd down and 10.
But you know what? Good job by UConn, but if you're Jonathan Brewer, offensive coordinator, for Duke, as you take a look at this good coverage there by UConn, that's what you want. It's a good decision by Mensah. It's not there, throw it away. He had an interception on that exact same play in the first half.
With 3 timeouts, is this 4-down territory? If they're at 4th and 10, would they punt and try to use the timeouts to get it back?
Absolutely.
25-yard line.
I'm surprised they haven't run the football to start this drive, though, Rich.
We're too late for that. It's 3rd and 10. Mensah's in trouble, escapes. Little flip. It's caught, but well short. That's Shepard who holds on. 5 yards on the gain. It's 4th and 5 now.
I think with 3 timeouts, with all 3 timeouts, you got to punt this football. But I understand the decision to go for it because it's been so difficult to stop the offenses of both sides. And so Coach Diaz is, his mindset right now is we got to find a way to keep this drive moving.
They got to find a way to get 5 yards. Shepard in the backfield. UConn shows blitz. Hazley in motion.
Hazley was clutch last week.
Here comes the blitz. Mensah flushed, fires, got a man. That's a 1st down. Brown escapes out of bounds. The sticks move, 36-yard line, and Duke still has life.
Able to find some space towards the sideline, and Keyshawn Brown a little bit quiet in the second half. But he is one of those key playmakers for Duke offensively.
1st and 10. All 3 timeouts still for Duke. Under a minute. Mensah scrambling. Mensah dives. 1st down. It'll stop the clock as they move the chains. And Duke is getting it done. Remember, they just need a field goal to get to OT. They'd love a touchdown, obviously, to leave East Hartford with a win.
And look at the freshman, Nate Shepard, stepping up in there in pass protection against a blitzing linebacker in the A gap. That's one of the hardest things to do for a running back, no matter whether you're a freshman or a senior.
Injured player down to the sideline, Tiffany Blackman.
Well, guys, you look at the position that that Duke is in right now, and it goes back to our meeting that we had with Darian Mensah. He said he loves being under pressure. That's where legends are made, and now he has to try a chance to do that, guys.
Hey, Tiff, the other thing that kind of came out in our meetings with Mensah and talking to Manny Diaz and Jonathan Brewer, Mensah has a rather large chip on his shoulder. This was a guy that really wasn't recruited much as a high schooler out of San Luis Obispo.
No, he wasn't. And, I talked about just why he chose UConn. And in that conversation we had with him, he brought up how Manny Diaz believed in him. And that is what really spoke volumes to him about being able to come and try to help this team.
Well, he certainly has done more than that this year. I mean, completion percentage is 70%. He's thrown 3 touchdowns in this one. A couple of interceptions. One was a deflected ball. Aaron Key is the injured Husky. If you're just joining us, this has been a marvelously fun game. Back and forth. UConn at home is up 3. Duke is on the move. Duke has all 3 timeouts. Their field goal kicker, Todd Polino, has a 47-yarder this year as his longest kick.
And for Duke, it's all about taking care of the football right here in this situation.
1st and 10. Mensah, little flip, and it's a low throw, and it's incomplete, which is not the worst thing in the world, because if he catches it and gets maybe 3 or 4 yards, they'd have to burn a timeout.
Well, the good thing is that they've got all 3, and we've seen a couple of these short arms here by Mensah tonight. Just a little uncharacteristic, not enough on that one to get to Nate Shepard, but he lived to play the next down here. Play clock getting under 10 here.
2nd and 10. Blitz comes. Mensah throws to the blitz, has Hazley, and Hazley is out of bounds.
Nice job by Mensah getting to it late. You'd like to see him recognize that a little sooner. That blitz on the outside, boom, get it out to your tight end. Was able to get out there finally and get some good yardage to make this a 3rd and manageable.
3rd and 4. Duke has not had to use a timeout yet, but there's 38 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Down 3.
Everything seems to be to the outside for Duke right now. At some point, try to attack the middle of this defense. You got the whole field to use right now.
Another blitz. Mensah throws. Oh, diving catch. Barkate. And that's a 1st down. Clock stops, 7 yards on the catch, and Duke is going to finally call one of their timeouts. What a catch by the Harvard transfer, Cooper Barkate. Timeout. Everybody take a deep breath. And let's bring on the Old Trapper. Our player of the game brought to you by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Joe Fagnano. And remember, no interceptions this year. He did throw a pick on a 2-point conversion, but as Jim Stamos, our rules interpreter here, tells us, on 2-point conversions, no statistics, so it's not an official interception. And so Old Trapper was happy to bestow upon him the highest of honors. 33 seconds left here. Matt Brock, defensive coordinator, trying to dial up a stop here. They're about 5 yards short of the target line for Todd Polino, which would tie this game. Duke wants to win this game. 33 left. Darian Mensah steps through the pocket, throws on the run, and it's broken up and incomplete. Barkate had Tyrese Mills climbing up his back, knocked it away. No flag. 2nd down and 10.
A little bit of a dangerous throw, but a nice job there by Tyrese Mills. That's not pass interference. He's going after the football. And just a fight for it there by, 2 skilled players. Mensah taking a little bit of a hit there. This has been a good battle back and forth tonight.
2nd down, 10. 28 seconds left. Brown motions to the slot. Another blitz. Mensah, another scramble. He's caught! Ball's loose! UConn has it! The Huskies are going to win this game.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
Wow.
Brian Parham knocked it loose. Trent Jones fell on the football. And the Huskies and Jim Mora have a signature win. An upper division ACC team.
Brian Parham is top 5 in the country in sacks per game. He's the emotional leader of this defense, the spark plug. And we talked about it when training camp started in the fall. He was at the bottom of the depth chart and rose himself to the top with his work ethic and has possibly made one of the biggest plays of his career tonight.
Duke is a team that could be playing in a month or two in the ACC championship game. They're 4-1 in the ACC. That large chip on the shoulder for UConn.
This is a big win.
It's a huge win.
Wow.
Jim Moore has done such a marvelous job here restoring
the end of the game.
A program that was at the very, very, very bottom of college football. And little by little, he built it back. 9-4 last year. They beat North Carolina in the bowl game. And here, Miami coming off, or rather, Duke coming off one of their biggest wins in a long time, the win at Clemson. And you know what? Next week, they play one of their could-be biggest games against Virginia.
Yeah, no doubt.
But in between, they had to come to East Hartford.
Yeah, no doubt. And a lot of folks thought it might have been a trap game, but, you know, Duke came to play. And the thing that made the win against Clemson so impressive last week was the fact that Clemson was playing so great. But, you know, there's Mensah trying to make a play, and you just got to take care of the football in that situation. You don't have your feet set. Your shoulders and hips aren't square. You got a defender on your back. Just tuck that football and take the sack. And you can obviously see the disappointment there at Mensah and his teammate there, Keyshawn Brown, trying to talk some positivity into him.
Duke doesn't turn it over very often. They had just 8 coming in. They had 3 in this game, the 2 picks and the fumble. And I told you, for UConn, this was a college football playoff game. And as the students stream onto the field for a program that was all but dead, did not even play during COVID.
This might have been the most organized rush to field that I've ever witnessed in college football.
They waited for Duke to leave, and then they came out.
Wow.
And for the kids that have stayed with Jim Mora for 2-3 years and hung in there, it's not easy, man. You're not in a league. It's tough to schedule. They really have to be, so laser focused on every game. Setting goals can be difficult. This really felt like a big, big opportunity, and they've taken care of business. Skylar Bell down below with our Tiffany Blackman.
Skylar, you just walked over here saying best in the nation, best in the nation. What did this team show the nation tonight?
That was for myself, man, and just all the work we put in. My brothers behind me, man, we put in work all week for days like this to come out on top of victories like this.
The game-winning touchdown that you had, what went through?
You got to make a play. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to do. Go out, make plays, make DBs look bad.
How much fun was it to see your defense come up big, especially at the end there?
Super fun. I'm glad they can get it done. Glad we got the win.
Congratulations, Skylar.
Thank you. Thank you. Best in the nation. Let's go.
He may well win the Triple Crown of receiving. And this was the catch. Good coverage, kind of a back shoulder line drive throw. And of course, the 2 quarterbacks, so good. And so much fun to watch tonight. Wow. UConn 7-3 now. 15-5 in their last 20. For Robert Turbin, Tiffany Blackman, our entire crew, I'm Rich Waltz. Presentation of CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. On to New York, Brent Stover and the gang. Inside college football, UConn holds on. So long from East Hartford.